We told you once.
And we told you twice.
This is the third episode of
the Punching Judys Bad Advice.
Told you once and we told you twice. We can't recommend our bad advice. We can't recommend our bad advice.
Let's do it, y'all. Let's do some bad advice.
That's right.
All right, here we are.
There we are. Bad advice.
Another one, and we got some good ones today.
Right.
In
So
fact,
we get to it?
I think we should. I'm going to start with the shorter one first.
Okay, let's do it.
This is some Sophie Tia Me.
Oh, Sophie Tia Me.
Sophie Tia Me. Sophie Tia Me?
Sophie Tia Me.
Oh, Tea or me.
Oh, that's right.
Is it? Oh, whatever.
Sophie Tia or Me. So, what? Coffee Tia or Me? Oh, it's
Okay.
got. Is this? And listen, does it have something to do with an airplane?
I like coffee. I like tea. I like the Java and it likes me. Coffee and tea and Sophie Tia Me. Let's read your bad advice now. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Hey, Judys.
Uh-huh.
This happened on a flight that I booked recently.
Hey, listen, I'm going on a flight this week.
Yeah, and this is probably going to be about how horrible you'll be to other people on the plane.
I've been known to be kind of a bitch on an airline.
Oh my God, of course you are. Hey, Judys.
That's right.
This happened to me on a flight that I'd recently booked.
Okay.
I specifically booked the window seat because, frankly, I love looking out at the clouds and it makes me happy.
Oh, listen, I understand that.
During the flight, I dozed off for a few, and when I woke, the window shade had been closed.
Ba-bum-ba!
So I reached over
Uh-huh.
and opened it again.
Well, of course.
And the guy sitting next to me looked at me dead in the eyes and with ample attitude said, "Is that really necessary?"
Wow.
I guess he wanted to sleep. And at first, the people pleaser in me wanted to close it for him right away. But honestly,
Yeah, I understand that.
yeah, but fuck him.
Yeah.
But honestly, I booked the window seat for a reason and
That's
I
right.
wanted it open.
I agree.
What would you do? Was I a bad seat companion?
Well,
Sophie Tia
listen.
Me.
The only bad seat companion was him.
He sounds like an asshole.
Well,
I find that there is a growing epidemic amongst flying Americans where people forget that they are in a public space
that's right.
thousands of feet in the air
That is correct.
with a bunch of other people
Yep.
who also don't want to be there. They are going somewhere that they would rather be other than that airplane.
That's right.
And so for some reason, flying has become this volatile mess
That's true.
where people are just the worst to each other,
Well,
as if they're in their home living room.
Now, here, listen, I read somewhere, there's a kind of a rule. It's a 3 rule. You know, it's a rule of 3.
Okay.
And what it is if you have the window seat,
Yeah.
you have control of the window.
Well, yes.
If you have the middle seat, you get both of the armrests.
Okay.
And if you have the aisle seat, you have access to the bathroom.
Yes.
It's kind of the rule. And so for him to go outside the boundaries and touch the window, really,
to reach over
really,
you like
sir.
that. I mean, well, you know what I would have done?
What?
Well, I would have done this. I
Yes.
would have said,
Would you have gone to the?
I would have said, Miss Flight Attendant or Sir Flight Attendant, come here.
That's
I have
right.
a problem.
That's right.
And they would have said, well, what? Well, what
Yeah.
is it? And I
What's
would have
the
said,
problem?
well,
Was there something wrong with your drink?
I would have said, absolutely not. I was softly and soundly asleep
That's right.
in my seat that I paid for.
That's right.
And you know what happened, ma'am or sir?
Uh-huh.
And they would have said, what? I said, this buffoon next to me, this babbling baboon buffoon,
Oof.
this oafish man,
Yes.
reached across me and smacked me in the face before opening my window against my will.
That's right.
And they
you
would've
know
said-
the rule of 3 is window seat, window control, middle seat, 2
Armrests. Yep.
and you can pee a lot when you're in the aisle seat.
And there you go.
That's
And
right.
he broke the social contract.
Which is why I like the aisle seat, because I like to drink and pee.
You pee?
Oh my God, I pee like a racehorse.
Oh my God.
That's right.
I don't know where it comes out of, but I'm just going to get...
I'm not telling you.
We'll let our imagination work with us today, folks. But no, I would say he slapped me in the face.
Yeah, he did.
And then what would have happened was they would have said, "Sir, is that true?" And he would have said,
No.
"I never did that." I said, "See, he's denying
In
it."
denial.
If you look at the cameras, you can see that he reached over me.
Yeah.
And then replay the camera, and guess what they would see? That he reached past me, and they would have said, "Sir, that wasn't appropriate." And guess what? You'd land that motherfucker on a no-fly list.
Well, I would personally call the air marshals.
Would you? You
I'd be
know them like that?
my space has been assaulted. My space has been assaulted. And then I would have said, I need the air marshal as quick as possible.
And she would have said, "Do you know who I am?" And they said, "No, not really." And she's like, "Well, I know who I am."
That's right.
And I'm America's premier drag puppet.
That's right.
And I demand justice.
That's right.
Demand justice
That's
because
right.
when he reached over me, he knocked loose a bit of my styrofoam.
That's right.
And you know what?
And,
That's a very big thing.
It's very hard to repair.
It's very hard
That's
to repair.
right.
So, Sophie, I think that what you really need to do is claim that he is a brute.
A brute.
And a horrible person who smacked you across the face upon lifting the window.
Now, this kind of reminds me of when you were flying with that woman who wanted you to move and see. But that's another thing. People who they buy any old ticket.
Oh my God, she was horrible.
Then they get on the plane and then they come to you and they're like,
free range.
"Oh, can I just get you to move over to this crappy seat?"
Yeah.
That you did not want in the first place. You could have picked that. If you wanted that crappy seat, you'd have picked it.
Then you should have bought it. You should have purchased it.
I have to tell you, I'm going off to. You're going off to
Utah.
Right.
That's right.
Actually, I went last week. And
that's right. You went off to Utah.
That's right. And to see Hans.
Yes. How was
we
that?
talked about it in the last episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, I bought first class.
Okay.
Because listen, I did not want to deal with this nonsense. I don't
blame you.
Listen, people and I don't know if it's just a coach situation because I have ran into some kind of snooty first class customers. What are you saying?
I'm saying you're a snooty flyer.
What? You've never flown with me.
I don't need to fly with you to know that you're snooty. That's your whole thing.
What?
Your whole thing is being snooty and above everyone else and belittling me for being common. And you're just Miss Opulence, Miss Narcissist, Miss probably wears, like a ball gown on the plane, holds everybody up because the train gets stuck in the door and it's just Miss Ruby for you.
That did happen once.
I'm sure it did. See, I clocked her, huh?
No, listen, I had been at a fancy well, it wasn't the Met Gala, but it was a similar kind of situation.
It was the Smet Gala.
and I had a flight, and I stayed kind of late, and I did not have time to change, and so I was running down the concourse, with my trail, with my long train trailing behind me, and I was. Well, it was.
I clocked you for it.
You can imagine. I'm surprised. Did someone tell you?
No, I just know you, girl. Only you in the year 2025 would get a ball gown stuck in the door of an airplane.
Well, it did not get stuck in the door, but it did almost get stuck in the door. And people were giving me. They kind of gave me a hand.
I'm sure they were. They were probably unhappy. She was almost.
No, people were quite kind, really.
Really?
They were like, they were happy to have a big superstar on the plane with them. And, listen, when I walk on a plane, I stand out, whether I have a ball gown on or not.
So what you're telling me is that Sophie should start wearing ball gowns on her flights.
Well, you couldn't really.
And you know what would actually it'd be perfect, Sophie, wear a ball gown because then the taffeta and all of the sort of fabric would kind of puff up around you and create a lovely cocoon, an impenetrable cocoon that this man would not be able to pass.
Well,
so you could. This is actually perfect.
Yeah.
This might be good advice. You'd build a wall of fabric where you'd be able to experience the window being open, but at the same time blocking Mr. Grumpy Pants from getting a light in his eyes while he slept. But you know what really grinds my gears here?
I liked my neighbor. When this happened, my neighbor, I sometimes I really like my.
Is this when
seat
you met
partner.
Queen Latifah on the plane?
Well, she was on the other side of the plane, but this is not. This is not that story.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same flight, actually.
Okay.
But my seat partner, they only have 2 across in first class,
Oh,
as you know.
really? Huh.
And my seat partner was kind of cold, and I offered to let them use my train as a little blanket.
Oh, that's
now,
sweet.
Honestly, you'd be surprised how warm sequins are.
They're
And,
very warm.
He was kind of sweet, and we put the the ball gown train over his lap, and then the next thing you know, he had his hand on my knee, and I was okay with that.
I
really.
see where this is going now.
It was kind of fun, and I listen. I don't make a habit of wearing a ball gown, but I thought after that I might do that a little more often.
When she does wear a ball gown now, you can be sure that there's at least 5 twinks under there.
Well, listen, he did ask consent. I'm not saying that would be okay to just do.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like consent. I like being naughty
hope
as
so.
long as there's consent.
Yeah.
A naughty is fun, and consensual naughty is the most fun. So there you go. Oh.
Well, that sounds fun.
It was a blast.
I bet it did. I'm going to have to try that ball gown trick out.
We didn't do much, but he kind of, I don't really have much of a knee, but
You don't have much of anything under there.
Listen, he
found the
he
one
wasn't
sloppy
offended
hole
that
on
I didn't
you.
have legs, so I, da da da.
No, that just gave me a chill thinking about that. Oh, God. Well,
listen, he was pretty cute.
I bet he was.
Yeah, he was.
I bet he was.
Older gentleman.
Yeah, your age.
well,
Finally, someone your age.
No, he was in his 30s. Well, he's an older gentleman. Older than.
I'm
older
in
than,
my 30s.
Well, I think we should move on.
Sophie, don't take shit from people on planes. It's
That's
not
right.
worth it.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, you bought your ticket, like
Yeah.
you said. You don't need to feel bad about it. If he wanted a window seat, he should have bought the window seat.
That's right.
Or if he was worried about light, you know what he should have purchased? A gosh darn face mask.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Why would he ever people are unreasonable, especially on planes. Hold your ground. Don't get in a fight, but hold your ground.
Yeah, don't get
kicked
crazy
off.
because I have seen that on flights.
Oh, I see it a lot now.
We see it on some.
And
you
at this
see
point-
you see it on the Instagram, and
Yeah.
people get hauled off. Do not
Do not.
engage.
But at this
Do
point,
not
you're lucky
engage.
enough that plane's not dropping out of the sky.
That's right.
So count your blessings.
That's right.
And remind your guests, you say, hey, listen, with the way things have been lately, you should be lucky that we're getting to the place on time.
That's right.
And we're not falling out of the sky.
That's
So
right.
shut your gosh darn pie hole, honey.
All right.
There you go.
That's the advice.
Sophie, that was your advice.
Shut your pie hole.
Shut your pie
Oh,
hole.
no. We were telling him to shut his pie
have
hole.
him shut his
yeah,
pie hole.
tell him to shut his pie hole. All right. So,
Which, honestly-
second letter.
We told you once and we told you twice. We can't recommend our bad advice.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. Second letter.
Second letter.
This is... Ruby.
What? What?
Did you write this?
What? Oh, I don't think so.
Ruby, the name is Louvel.
Well, so?
You know how I feel about this name.
I didn't write this. Well, just read it. Just read it.
Hello, my dearest Judys.
Uh-huh.
Because Louvel would sound like this. I've been at my job for over a year now.
Uh-huh.
And in personal and professional conversation, I have a coworker who constantly interrupts me.
Really? That's crazy.
right, yep.
That's crazy.
But not just me.
Uh-huh.
It's everyone.
Really?
Usually, someone will start to speak and after a few seconds they will interrupt.
Right.
Not always about the same subject. Sometimes they will just spark into a completely different topic.
Well, that's kind of never mind. Go on.
There's professional conversations that have to happen with our team. And in addition, we literally sit next to each other. I always thought that's just how their brain works, or maybe they have a different communication style.
This is sounding an awful lot like somebody I know.
Recently, I started just literally talking louder and not stopping when they interrupt me.
Uh-huh.
It usually leads to both of us talking for 1 to 2 seconds.
Really?
Sometimes they will stop / slow down, and sometimes they just keeps going.
Really?
Almost ignoring what I'm saying. I feel crazy. And I feel like everyone else at work notices. I asked them to just stop interrupting me, but when I brought this up to another friend, they said that's as bad as what my coworker is doing, and honestly, that strategy didn't work anyway. Help!
Oh, my Lord.
Louvel.
Oh, it sounds sort of like you.
Are you kidding me right now?
No,
Did you seriously write a whole letter from the perspective of the man who actually inherited the money that I thought I inherited?
I had nothing to do with it.
You had nothing to do with that.
I had nothing to do with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Are you positive?
It seems to me that you're interrupting me as I'm
Here's the thing.
I don't understand why you would try.
Snap. Friends,
But
let me just tell you something. For those of you who don't know, we'll do a little recap. I received a phone call about 1.5 years ago from a bank saying that I inherited money.
well, it was actually a lawyer.
Anyways,
Yeah.
this lawyer was from the South.
Uh-huh.
Turns out I did not inherit the money. Someone named Louvel did.
Well,
And so I think that this is some kind of cruel joke that Louvel decides to write a letter about somebody who they sit next to who talks too much. But you know, I have some great bad advice for this. You know, I have some good bad advice because I actually happen to know what this feels like. In fact, filming with Ruby is like this all the time.
well, I don't know about that. I mean,
I think, in fact,
honestly, I don't
I think
believe.
there's multiple
I
times.
think that you're
I
kind
think
of
there's
pushing
multiple
this. I don't
times
believe this has
where
anything to do
Ruby
with us.
talks
Not
over
a
me,
single thing.
just
I do
like
not
this,
understand why
just
you're
like this.
trying to.
She
You're
steps
trying.
on
You're
my
trying to pin
lines.
this on
She
me.
steps on my
You are.
lines.
She is trying to
She
pin
steps
this
on
on
my
me.
lines. She talks over me.
Oh, I do not.
And you know what I think you should do?
I do not talk over you.
Louvel, since that's who you say you are,
Yes.
I think that you need to cut the lips off of your coworker. Those big, bloated, vacuous lips that just spout nonsense at any moment's notice. Just snip them off. And you know what you should do? Mount them on wood and put them over your fireplace.
I think you are horrible.
And under them, give it a placard that says, "Big fat, big mouth bitch."
I cannot believe that you are accusing moi, of this sort of behavior.
I think every single person who listens to this podcast can attest that Ruby has a tendency to talk over me, not the other way around.
No, I do not. That is not true.
She thought that
That
she was
is
going to
not true.
gaslight me.
It is not true.
She thought
It
she
is
was going
not.
to gaslight.
You're the one who talks over me.
No, girl.
You talk over me.
No.
I did not write this letter.
You
but,
wrote this fucking letter.
No, I did not.
Friends, I'd like you to put down in your comments and answer this question for me. Does Ruby have a tendency to talk over me?
I do not. She has a tendency to talk over me.
I do
and
not.
she likes to make fun of me when I don't remember things or I don't put things quite in the right order.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about talking over people.
I am not talking
I
over you.
certainly
I
love
am
to
not
make fun
talking
of you.
over you, and I am tired of you always suddenly accusing me of things that I am not.
Well, Ruby, why did you feel the need to write this letter then?
I did not write that
But
letter.
who did?
Well, apparently you, Louvel. It's probably you that wrote the letter. You're probably writing it about me. And now you're trying to gaslight me and accuse me of writing a letter that I did not write.
You're literally just taking what I said and putting it on me.
No, that's right. I think you wrote it.
Oh my God.
I did not write that.
Why
would I write that?
Why would I write my
write
own
that?
name on the thing?
Well, because you're trying to pretend like it's not you by saying it was me.
I would never make such a horrible, cruel
I
joke.
feel like I'm being gaslit.
No, girl, you wrote this.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
I know it was you because I saw you write it.
No, I did.
You didn't realize.
I did not write it.
She didn't realize this, and I was very suspicious of this. But I went into the kitchen last night, friends. I went into the kitchen last night, and I saw Ruby in her armchair, still wide awake at like 2 a.m., typing on her computer.
That is not true.
And I have to wonder now
That
what
is
she
not
was
true.
typing. She probably stayed up all night.
No, listen. I was just doing regular.
She's doing it again. Just interrupted me.
I was just doing regular business stuff that has to be taken care of. You know, we have a lot of stuff that has to be taken care of that she does not do. I will have you know, she just shows up, and she thinks just because she puts a dress on and a wig on that's it. She doesn't pay the bills. She doesn't deal with any of this stuff.
So, Ruby, I have a question.
I just copied this off of the mail we get at the Punching Judys at gmail.com in case you want to write us a letter. And it was in there. And that's why I would assume that you're the one who wrote it. And you sent it to the Punching Judys at gmail.com.
So if I
just basically copied it and printed it. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And I read it as Louvel. I didn't think that it was Louvel, and I had forgotten, as you would, you know how I am. I had forgotten all about that situation. A year and a half ago? I mean, in puppet years, that's literally decades.
That's a whole lot of story there, miss. So you're telling me if I go onto your computer right now.
That's right.
And I look through the files.
That's right.
This won't be on there.
No, it won't be.
It won't be on in your most recent documents.
Well, it'll be in the documents because I copied it out of your email.
Oh, so show me the email.
I think you sent it to me.
Show me the email.
I will show it to you.
Okay, I want to see it.
I will show you the email.
Right when we're finished, I want to see the email.
I did not write this. I just copied it from the email.
Well, I think my advice holds true, Lou. Rip off the lips of your coworker, mount them on your wall, and give him a nice placard.
You're accusing. She is accusing.
She just
me.
said you.
You are accusing me. I cannot believe.
Well,
this.
what would you tell Louvel?
I would tell. I would tell Louvel to, just try and be a lot more of a listener, less of a talker, and kind of. I would put up with it a little bit more, be a more patient person.
Jesus, is this my life? Is this my life being gaslit by an inanimate object?
Well, I'm being gaslit by you.
No, you wrote this, Ruby.
I did not write this.
No, yes, you did.
I did not.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord.
You know who probably wrote this?
Who?
Knowing that he'd fuck us all up. It was probably that no good Josiah Walker.
It probably was.
He said, they've messed up my name so many times now that I'm going to throw them off and have them at each other's throat.
He probably did.
He probably did. So you know what? We're not going to blame each other anymore. We're going to blame Josiah Walker.
Well, it's always the men.
It's always the men. It's always the men.
He's trying to drive a wedge between us.
A wedge.
That's right. Probably.
He's wedged me so many times.
That dinner situation and where we sort of talk to each other more than we talk to him.
Yeah.
He was like, I am going to break those two up.
He's
I'm going to cause a fight.
It's true.
Cause them to have a constant.
Actually, I don't think Josiah wrote that. Want to know why?
Why?
Because he told me that you have a tendency to interrupt me a lot. He said, wow, that Ruby really just steps on your toes, Louvel.
No, I'm a good listener.
He said, wow, Louvel.
I'm a really good listener.
You're such a wise and funny and intellectual person, and she really just steps all over.
Who are we talking about?
Josiah, he said this.
No, who's funny and wise and intellectual? Me?
No, me. You know who also said that?
Good Lord, you're allowed to say this, but not those. I didn't want
to tell you this, but you know who also said something to me about it?
What?
I was having lunch with Big Sue the other day.
Oh, hey, how's she doing on her Ozempic?
She's real thin.
Has she gotten thin?
She's not so big.
How much has she lost?
I think she's lost like 40 pounds.
No,
like 50. Yeah, Big
no,
Sue.
It's only been like 4 weeks.
Girl, she's been dropping.
Jesus.
Lord. Big Sue's on a roll.
She's little Sue now.
She's not little. She's mid Sue right now.
Did we call her Suzempic now?
Suzempic. That's right. Suzempic.
Oh, Suzempic.
Well, Sue, she sat me down at breakfast. And you know what she said?
What?
She said, Louvel, I really think that you have to address this with Ruby because she really just doesn't respect.
Listen.
You just did it.
We just got the letter. How could you? Maybe Suzempic wrote it.
Maybe Arlene wrote it.
No,
maybe it's a come to Jesus moment from Arlene because you've been interrupting her all the time. I'm sure you have. Listen,
I don't interrupt.
We went on that date.
I am not an interrupter.
I just think that maybe.
Well, that's what you get for thinking.
My God, girl.
What?
Get a grip.
You 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 get a grip.
Grip it.
You touched my tits.
I gripped him. I got a grip.
You are really weird.
God.
Oh, Lord. God.
You won't be able to do that to me much longer. I'll be hard. Won't pinch an inch.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Jesus, that was funny.
You are crazy. I don't know. Now I really want to know who wrote that.
I think it was someone who is out to get us.
I think so too.
Or you.
I think they must have liked that otter episode and they thought,
let's see if we can cause another meltdown.
That's right. That's right. But we're not going to do that.
No, I like you too much. Yeah.
Well, I like you well enough.
I like you.
I mean, it reminds me of, I will say one of my favorite things is that song we always used to sing before we'd end our show. You and me.
We're the kind of people that the people would like to be. Wondering, we present the kind of picture people would like to see. Never got those lyrics right. And we don't care if tomorrow comes with no guarantee. We've each other for company. And come what may, you and me will stay together year after year. Won't we, my dear? It'll always be you and me.
Join us in 2 weeks for the next episode of Bad Advice, and see you next week with Sylvia.
Stay for more. Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.
We told you once and we told you twice. We can't recommend our bad advice. We can't recommend our bad advice.